Who were the first two people God created? Adam and Eve. What did God create on the first day? Light. What did the serpent convince Eve to eat? Fruit. What was the forbidden tree called? Tree of knowledge of good and evil. What did God create on the seventh day? Nothing, he rested. Who was Adam and Eve's first son? Cain. Who built an ark to survive the flood? Noah. How many pairs of clean animals did Noah take into the ark? 7 pair. What sign did God give to show he wouldn't flood the earth again? A rainbow. Who was the oldest man mentioned in Genesis? Methuselah. How many sons did Jacob have? 12. What new name did God give to Jacob? Israel. Who was sold by his brothers into slavery? Joseph. Who was Joseph's father? Jacob. What was the name of Abraham's first son? Ishmael. What did God promise Abraham? Many descendants. What was the name of Abraham's wife? Sarah. How old was Sarah when she gave birth to Isaac? 90 years old. What did God ask Abraham to sacrifice? His son Isaac. Who found a wife for Isaac? Abraham's servant. Who was Isaac's wife? Rebekah. Who were the twin sons of Isaac and Rebekah? Esau and Jacob. Who sold his birthright for a meal? Esau. What did Jacob dream about on his way to Haran? A ladder reaching to heaven. What name did Jacob give to the place where he had the dream? Bethel. How many years did Jacob work to marry Rachel? 7 years. Who was Jacob's first wife? Leah. How many sons did Leah have? 6. What special gift did Jacob give to Joseph? A colorful coat. What did Joseph's brothers do to him? Sold him as a slave. Who bought Joseph as a slave in Egypt? Potiphar. What was Joseph's special ability? Interpreting dreams. What did Pharaoh dream about that Joseph interpreted? Cows and grain. How many years of famine did Egypt have? 7 years. What did Joseph's brothers find in their sacks when they left Egypt? Their money. Which brother offered to stay in Egypt instead of Benjamin? Simeon. How did Joseph reveal himself to his brothers? He wept. What did Joseph tell his brothers when he revealed himself? I am your brother Joseph. How many people in Jacob's family went to Egypt? 70. Where did Jacob want to be buried? In Canaan. What was the name of Joseph's Egyptian wife? Asenath. How old was Joseph when he died? 110 years old. What did God do when he saw the wickedness of the people before the flood? He was sorry he made them. What was the first bird Noah sent out of the ark? A raven. What did the dove bring back to Noah? An olive leaf. Who was the father of Canaan? Ham. Who was the mighty hunter before the Lord? Nimrod. What was the Tower of Babel made of? Bricks. Why did God confuse the language of the people at Babel? They wanted to build a tower to heaven. Who was Abraham's nephew? Lot. Where did Lot choose to live? Sodom. What happened to Lot's wife when she looked back at Sodom? She turned into a pillar of salt. How many righteous people did Abraham ask God to spare Sodom for? 10. Who visited Abraham to tell him about the birth of Isaac? 3 angels. What did Sarah do when she heard she would have a baby? She laughed. How old was Abraham when Isaac was born? 100 years old. Who did Abraham send away with her son Ishmael? Hagar. What did God provide as a substitute for Isaac when Abraham was about to sacrifice him? Ram. Who buried Abraham after he died? Isaac and Ishmael. How old was Isaac when he married Rebekah? 40 years old. What were the names of Isaac's twin sons? Esau and Jacob. What was Jacob's dream about? A ladder reaching to heaven. What was the place called where Jacob had his dream? Bethel. Who did Jacob wrestle with? A man who was God. What was Jacob's name changed to? Israel. How many wives did Jacob have? 2. What were the names of Jacob's wives? Leah and Rachel. Which of Jacob's sons was sold into slavery by his brothers? Joseph. What special gift did Jacob give to Joseph? A coat of many colors. Where was Joseph taken after being sold by his brothers? Egypt. What position did Joseph eventually hold in Egypt? Second in command to Pharaoh. What did Pharaoh's dream about 7 fat cows and 7 thin cows mean? 7 years of plenty and 7 years of famine. How did Joseph's brothers first come to Egypt? To buy food? Which brother did Joseph keep in Egypt when the others returned to Canaan? Simeon. What did Joseph's brothers bring to him on their second trip to Egypt? Benjamin. How did Joseph test his brothers on their second trip to Egypt? He hid a silver cup in Benjamin's sack. What did Joseph do when he revealed himself to his brothers? He cried, "Where did Joseph tell his brothers to bring their father?" To Egypt. How many years of famine were there in Egypt? 7. Who did Jacob bless before he died? His 12 sons. Where did Jacob want to be buried? In the cave of Machpelah. Who became the leader of the family after Jacob died? Judah. What did Joseph tell his brothers after their father died? Don't be afraid, I will take care of you. How old was Joseph when he died? 110 years old. Who were the 2 sons of Joseph? Ephraim and Manasseh. Where did Joseph tell his family to bury him? In Canaan. What was the land that God promised to Abraham and his descendants? Canaan. What was the name of the tower where people tried to build up to heaven? Tower of Babel. What was the sign of the covenant between God and Abraham? Circumcision. Who was the first man to be called a Hebrew? Abraham. What was Sarah's original name? Sarai. Who was the king of Salem who blessed Abraham? Melchizedek. What did Abraham do when he heard that Lot was captured? He gathered 318 men to rescue him. What was the name of the well where Hagar met an angel? Beer Lahai. What did Abraham plant in Beersheba? A tamarisk tree. Who was the king that made a covenant with Abraham at Beersheba? Abimelech. Who was the king that made a covenant with Abraham at Beersheba? Sodom. What did God send to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah? Fire and brimstone. What was the name of the cave where Abraham and Sarah were buried? Cave of Machpelah. What did God say would happen to anyone who curses Abraham? They will be cursed. Made it to the end? Awesome. Now, how did you score? Let us know in the comments. If you stayed through all 100 questions, you're a Genesis genius. Hit that subscribe button for more Bible quizzes, and don't forget to share this with your friends to see if they can beat your score. Thanks for sticking with us. See you in the next challenge.